Alright, I think I got everything more or less started. Still touching up the picture and the sound a bit, but soon. Okay. First thing I'm going to do now is raise the stage up. So if you watch below, you'll see the stage start to move upward. And this is just going to get us a little closer to the material. And the picture quality improves the closer I get, basically, but the depth of field shrinks. That's about as close as I want to get for now. And then can really touch up the image a little. That's better. Let's poke around on this picture just a bit, and I need to tweak some things. Josue was in here before I started, and he's been using the SEM earlier today, I think. So he probably has everything more or less where it needs to be, but I'm going to just try to tighten it up in case. So that will involve me just trying to like get the stigmation perfect and focus a little bit. And when we start to get down into this size range, I need to change the beam intensity. It's not looking too bad. Just a little fuzzy. Let's see if I can fix that a bit. I'm using the wobble right now, and if the image was wobbling, that little circle would be kind of going in different directions when it came in and out of focus, and it doesn't look like it's really moving much. Maybe like a slight up and down, but it's very, very subtle. So I'm just going to leave it alone because we're zoomed in pretty close and the picture doesn't look bad. Doesn't look half bad anyway. And I'm just going to try to tweak the stigmation a bit. That it's doing a whole lot. It looks pretty close. So this image is around 100,000 times. Maybe could just use a little bit. Let's see what we can do. Some of that's also our beam intensity. If I drop it down just another little notch here. That seems pretty good. This is our image at, this is like 50,000 times, so pretty decent. And if I slow the beam and fix the brightness a little bit, should be in good shape. Yeah, well, it wasn't a Dell maximum delay. It was just a couple of seconds, actually. But, you know, getting things together, it's always a bit of a scramble. Still feel like that image could be a little bit better. Now it's just a little bright from swapping out the zoom speed settings. Okay, let's see what we can find. Last time when I was looking at the samples, I don't think we spent a lot of time on 2. We spent a lot of time on 1 and then jumped right over, so I'm going to spend a little bit more time with this sample. These are materials from San Francisco Bay from now, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, that Pacific Plankton sent to me. And I think these are from the unprocessed part, but maybe this is actually processed, because I don't see a lot of colonies. I see everything kind of disaggregated. Yeah, I think this is actually from processed. So these have been rinsed in nitric acid, and it's gotten rid of most of the organic material in the sample. And I think last time we were really kind of, as I mentioned, kind of zoomed out. So we didn't look at a lot of the really small things. We were mostly looking at the bigger diatoms that were there. And this is maybe an opportunity for us to kind of go and take a look at some of the really small ones. This is the diatom Actinopticus, the genus, and characterized by this sort of radiation symbol pattern of elevations and depressions. High Pacific Plankton and High Evolasi. We're looking at a diatom for Jull. This is a bunch of diatoms, actually. This one that is in the center, that I'm circling with my mouse, is a Actinopticus, which is a type of planktic diatom. And this little guy that's here is actually a colony of Skeletonema, both pretty common right now in the samples that Pacific sent me. And I spent a little bit of time cleaning up the image, but I feel like I could just do a little bit more. Although you can see the way that the colony cells are joined together, the valves are joined together in this sort of like interesting little knuckle. It's still just a little blurry, but I think it's because I switched the beam intensity to 10 and we are really zoomed in. So there you go. You can see how the actual like knuckling joining between the colonies occurs. These are they're kind of like spines, I guess, that they use to attach attachment spines to the neighboring cells, and you can see they fit together kind of like little puzzle pieces to keep them attached. And I'm just gonna see if I can tweak that image a little. We'll see. And we're in super close now, so magnification right now is around 100,000 times again. about the same. Need some, need to go find some Kerbera to take a look at, because that'll help get me squared away with these. So the image is just a little bit grainy, and that's because of the speed settings. If I lower the speed to 7, then the image quality will start to improve, and if I make it 8, it'll get even better. We won't see as much of this sort of grainy element to it. And then this, because the speed is slower, we can't move around really. So 4 is kind of like, I don't know, slow cruising speed. That allows it to redraw the image relatively quickly. And what you can see here is a Chaetoceros setae that's sticking into our field of view, and then a whole bunch of little Chaetoceros. Skeletonema, Actinopithecus. This is Chaetoceros, a different species than this one. So you can see they have sort of an oval shape, a little bit larger body, and then there's another one that's producing these really long spines that we see right here. And I think this is just a piece of a Chaetoceros. We saw this in the encysted kind before, that were like this. It looks like they kind of like got the center ripped out. Kind of interesting view of one of them. Knuckled spines, yeah. It amazes you to think about them and the variation of... Yeah, well, diatoms just by themselves are pretty variable. You know, hundreds of thousands of species, probably, at least. The expectation that it might be closer to 1 million different species. They're extremely variable. And you can see that just in what we have here. That's a different species, that's a different species, these are different. This thing is another species right here. And there's these different Chaetoceros species that we can see. And we don't even have to move very far, and we can get kind of a wide range of species. This is a... I think that's a Thalassiosira. One of these should be extra long and big, but I can't find it. But I'm assuming that's probably Thalassiosira. And another one over here. And a different one over here. So just to give you some idea. We're kind of, as I mentioned, zoomed in looking at the little guys a bit more. Although we'll stumble across some of the bigger ones just by looking at the little guys. So this is a Pseudonychia. I was sort of curious because we were looking at how they attached on Pacific Plankton Stream the other day. And I was sort of thinking, oh, I should just zoom in and take a look at what do they look like up close, like right at the attachment points for these. So they attach here to the adjoining valves. It doesn't look all that special. At least not from what we saw there. Maybe I'll find another one where it'll be a little bit clearer. This is a silica flagellate. Let me see. I turn this on? Oh, I think I am in here. And it's picking up my mic. Pack, if you want to try joining that channel, I could probably drop you in. You could talk. If you wanted. know if you feel like talking. I think I have it set up right. There's an internal view. This is not the Lasiosira, this is Cossinodiscus. So around the outside edge, there's a whole bunch of Rimoportula, which is how I would identify it as Cossinodiscus. If that was the Lasiosira, those would be strutted processes. So. Hello? Can you tell? Can you talk and see if it's coming through? You're lighting up. I don't know if they can hear you. I can hear you. Yeah. I think they can hear you, but nobody's said anything, so I'm waiting for someone to tell me. Oh, Shunt says they can't hear you. Oh, hang on, I probably have to... Now they can probably hear you. I turned off...
Shunt says no.
They can hear you now. I can tell. I just had the desktop microphone off.
Oh.
The desktop speaker, I mean. Now it's working.
Hooray.
Yeah.
Ah.
I can see the bar moving, so I know they can hear you.
Okay.
How's it going?
Wonderful. It's going well. Now I just have to figure out how to get the sound to come out of my computer, otherwise I hear lag.
Oh, yeah. Just mute the stream and listen to Discord.
Look at that, so beautiful.
Well, it's just a Skeletonema with the girdle band on. I'm trying to find something good that I can use to work on the stigmation.
It's showing its ankles.
Yeah, just its ankles. Sexy ankles. You know, like back in the day. These pores are too big.
It's a Skeletonema.
Yeah, it's a Skeletonema. I need to find the internal view of a Thalassiosira where the cribra are exposed. And then I'll be able to... Oh, it's a hairy... A hairy shoulders one. You see? Oh, you probably don't see it yet.
Tella.
Yeah, Odontella with the hairy shoulders. Lots of hairy shoulders.
Like the Odontella. Yeah, I was seeing those the other night.
I don't know what the hairs are all about. I think I have my microphone turned up to bird loudness.
Extra silica?
Yeah, maybe extra silica. I don't know. I am gonna get a picture though.
Right. I don't know why I can't get your... Let's see.
Good news, everyone!
That was a new follow. Oh, thank you for the follow.
News, everyone.
A couple of them.
Mm-hmm.
Command lines and raw full. That's the... Now that I got the bot that thanks people for joining, then I get to see their names. Even if it disappears from the screen. It's a bonus. So 260.
You know, I should look into that.
It's not hard.
Mm-hmm.
You're using OBS? Do you use Stream Elements? Or do you use slobs?
Me? Yes.
You,
Yes.
You're using OBS now, right?
No, OBS.
Yeah. So if you're using Stream Elements as your bot, it's just a checkbox. Are you still hearing me through the stream? Instead of through Discord?
I'm still hearing you through the stream. I'm trying to get it to come through.
Okay.
I've done something.
There's like a really long delay when I say
Here's the
something.
Discord. There's a lag.
Yeah. And I'm like, she's not really answering me. Can't you just mute the stream and then and listen through Discord?
Yeah, I just can't get it to come through Discord.
Oh, that's weird.
I've done something.
Again? This is okay. Looks good.
Yep.
When I'm not around, you just twist all the buttons and turn all the knobs on the microphone.
Beautiful. Keep it fun.
Yeah. Make it exciting. I'm going to change all the settings. It's taking its time thinking about the brightness. I think it made a good decision, though, so that looks good.
Okay. I can hear you now.
Normally,
Yes, normally.
in Discord.
Without a lag?
Yeah. I heard you say normally on the stream now, though.
Uh-oh. Because I need to mute my... Here. Ta-da!
Good. What have you been up to today?
Arguing with health insurance people.
Gross.
I know, but it had to be done.
Did they meet your demands?
No.
Oh.
They basically told me I should change health insurance plans.
You tell them you're going to find a new provider?
Yeah. Well, they told me I should find a new provider if I didn't like it.
And you were like, okay, done.
Sounds like a plan.
We're in agreement. Argument
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, like... It was actually really sweet, because I was on the phone, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, we really need national health. And the guy says, yeah, then I could get a job with the government. It'd be so much better. I was like, yes!
I got this extra long headphone connector now, so I can plug my headphones in and not have to be near the computer.
Nice.
Not have to worry about turning my head and unplugging myself.
Well, wireless headphones would do that too.
Well, these are wireless headphones, but the computer doesn't have Bluetooth, so I have to, take what it gives me.
Yep, we work with what we can.
My software is telling me that the filament heating needs to be adjusted to achieve optimal live time. So I did not adjust the filament, but I will. I'm gonna wait till my picture's done though, because it would totally ruin my picture.
Don't ruin the picture. It's beautiful. I love the hairy shoulders.
Yeah, it's so weird.
Daddy is cute, Daddy is strong, Daddy is brave, and Daddy will not stop.
That was a subscription. Oh, that was
It
you. Oh, okay.
It was me.
It was like, I know that noise. It's that time again, huh?
It is. It
Thank-
is. Comes around every month.
Yeah, it does. Thank you. I'm sure mine for yours is coming up as well, which will be later today.
Yes, I have to go get Plankton, speaking of which.
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
No, because high tide's around 12:30. So when you're done streaming, I'm going to hop in the car and run away
All right.
out
That's
to the ocean.
what I'm
Or
gonna do when I'm done streaming.
the bay. Hop in the car and run away.
Yeah. It's my plan as well. I'm just gonna call this
You're good.
one Hairy Shoulders.
Hairy shoulders.
That's the file name, Hairy Shoulders. I suppose I could put the prefix on. Hang on. And now that the picture's collected, I'm gonna let the computer adjust the heating.
Gonna fix that element.
Yeah, well, when it tells me it needs to be heated, have the heating adjusted, I just listen to it like a fool. So,
Well, you don't want it to burn out.
it won't burn out. Not from that anyway. It's, it will probably fix the picture a little bit. Might improve it a little bit. Or it might force me to
Okay.
restigmate, one or the other.
Don't you hate having to restigmate partway through?
Yeah, that's alright. All I care about is how good it looks, frankly. I'm a focus wonk.
Focus wonk.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Everything needs to be in focus, and as the better focus, the better.
Then I suppose the SEM is one of the most perfect tools because you can really get that focus dialed in.
Yeah. Also, my camera's pretty nice that way, so, you know, if I'm being careful. It's
Beautiful birds this morning, speaking of your camera.
Yeah, that went okay. I feel like I had better birds last time, but you know, you just have to again take what it gives you. So when I left the house, I brought my camera with me, just in case I decided to, you know, find some birds. And right as I was getting in the car, the red-headed woodpecker that was like chirping the entire time my stream was going on but never came down to get its food, it was in the front yard on the tree, so I took some pictures of it. So
Oh, you're gonna post those later?
yeah, probably see how they turned out first. It's really taking its time doing its heating adjustment. It's got its own speed it operates at. You can't see the, I guess you can't see the heating adjustment doodad.
There's a heating adjustment doodad.
There's a pop-up window for me, but because I'm not sharing my window, I'm sharing my, or no, I'm not sharing my whole screen, I'm just sharing the window. It doesn't see it for you guys. So it's just been sort of doing a little like loading bar thing. Making micro
So on
adjustments.
the right, I can see your info panel,
Mm-hmm.
your stigmators,
Mm-hmm.
and let's see, depth of focus. Oh wow, I never actually read through all of those.
We're in resolution mode. High voltage is set, the accelerating voltage is set to 30 kV. There's the magnification. That's the width of the view field. That's the speed that we're currently at, 7, which is where I take pictures from. That's the working distance, which is how far the stages from the pull piece. And
Oh, wow.
the depth of focus, which is how much of the focus is in focus, how much of the picture is in focus at the same time. So the thickness of our focus. And then the stigmators, which are the sort of lens adjustments to the image. And the image shift, which I haven't shifted the image at all. And the rotation, which is the carousel's rotation. It says 0, but we're not at 0 actually. So that might be something else actually. And then the beam intensity, which is sitting at 20 because it's trying to heat the element correctly. And the absorption current, that's when it sends the beam down, how much of the beam is being captured, how much of energy is being captured from the beam and being absorbed. And then the spot size, that's related to the beam intensity. So it's basically the amount of the sample that's being hit by the beam, or the width of the beam on the sample.
Oh, so the beam intensity dropped back to 10.
Yeah, it's still going through its adjustments. So it turns all the heat all the way up to 20, which is basically the beam intensity as high as it will go, and then it makes an adjustment, and then it lowers it back down to like the standard 10, which is like how I typically use it, or normal operating intensity. And now it's trying to make an adjustment to get the absorption current correct for the amount of the beam intensity. Then it's going to optimize that. If you can see down here, I don't know if you can see this part, under electron beam, there's the accelerating voltage. Lifetime is how long that the filament has been running. So this has got 100 hours on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can see it's changing the emissions and the heating percentage. And this number keeps changing as it's making tweaks to the heating. Now it jumped up to 15 for some reason. So it's really like working extra hard to get the heat adjusted.
Wow.
I know, it's kind of boring, but
It's not that boring.
it's still adjusting. It's almost to the point where I want to tell it stop so we can continue doing things. Because I can't really do anything while it's adjusting the heat.
Hmm. So are you ready for summer?
I'm extra ready for summer. The semester was a rough one, so
Yeah.
I'm
You
ready.
had a lot going on.
Yeah, I had a lot of classes, and I still have to finish submitting my grades, and I still have to grade like 4 papers. So,
Oof.
I mean, 4 papers isn't that bad. It's probably an hour of work or something, maybe an hour and a half. And then that's it. Submit grades, done for a month, basically.
And then what starts up in a month?
I'm teaching an online class, but it's not a lot of work. It's a class I've already got together. So, I just have to administrate it, basically. I've got to make some new discussion boards and do a bunch of Blackboard editing to make the website functional for people. And I like to actually go in and schedule everything so that it's timed released. And then I don't have to remember to set assignments.
Oh, that's nice. So what's the class? I'm curious now.
It's just earth science. Entry geology class, basically.
Earth
So,
science.
yeah, I'm going to cancel the heating thing because it's just taking forever. But let's see if I adjust the brightness and contrast if it fixes itself. It was really just kind of, I mean, it's been like 5 minutes of trying to fix the heating, so. Now it's just taking its time on the brightness and contrast settings. It doesn't like anything I'm doing. Okay.
The obstinate microscope today.
But I do think it actually improved the image a little bit. So
Oh yeah.
that looks a little bit nicer than the way it was. So, okay. Whatever. It tried. We gave it the college try. Literally.
A for effort.
Right. Effort's what's most important. Which is why so many people usually fail.
Oh, ouch. Oh, look at that.
Okay. We will.
And the little mouths.
Yeah. Let's see what I can do with it. Now it's a big mouth. Oh, it looks like a little bird. Hang on.
Good news,
Oh,
everyone.
it does. With like a sideways beak.
That's how I imagine all the birds. With this, like a sideways beak making a poopy face at me. Like, why are you
Really
filming
big
me
eyes.
when I'm trying to eat?
And you know that they're watching you.
Oh, they're watching. They're watching me and I'm watching them.
They probably know your routines better than you know theirs.
Possibly. I don't really know their routines, so they I do know that they're there in the morning, and then sometime around 4 they sort of show up again, and they're usually not there, like, at least not commonly, like around lunchtime. So I don't know if they just find other food sources during lunchtime or what. But I do like the
Is
little
it hot
bird
in the
face.
middle of the day?
I mean, in the summer it is, but right now, no. So I don't know what the issue is there.
They're having a nap. It's nap time.
I mean, that sounds delightful. That's how I would operate if I could. I suppose I can now. I could sleep while my daughter's in school for the next month. And then afterwards, when she comes home, there's no chance of me sleeping. It's just a circus. I like the different size holes.
The contrast is nice.
I just want to see if it's going to tell me that I also need to fix the heating again. Because it did it when I went to take a picture. Oh, I got another follow. I'm not a furry. Number 9. Were there 8 other people who were I'm not a furry?
There may have been.
I feel like that's a lot of I'm not a furry. That's a lot of people denying their furryhood.
Yeah.
You didn't have any classes today?
No.
Are you reaching
Not
the point
today.
where you don't have to do many more?
Yeah, the summer. Well, so there's fun stuff happening this summer. Looking into setting up a microscopes and chill hangout
Oh, really?
over the summer. Yeah. Yeah.
A hangout.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So there's a group of nature journalers that do a regular weekly meeting where they all hop on a Zoom channel and work on whatever project they're working on, called Pencil Miles and Chill, and it was set up through the Nature Journaling Club Facebook page. And the woman who organizes that had been talking about hanging out and doing microscope stuff with me, and it was really fun. We did it for a while, and then the timing went all wonky, and looking to do that again this summer, but with more of a science focus through the Plankton monitoring people and the San Francisco Microscopical Society.
So what's the objective? You just hang out, everybody's on a microscope?
If you have one and you want to share a microscope, you can share what you've got. It's just a social microscope Zoom, I suppose.
Is everybody sharing one screen? Everybody's
Good
sharing their
news,
own
everyone.
screen.
You can take turns sharing.
Oh, okay.
So
There's not going to be like a fist fight for the control.
if there are that many enthusiastic microscopists with stuff to share, wow, we can do breakout rooms. That would be so cool. Could you imagine?
I could.
The pollen people go into this room.
Yeah, get rid of
We
them.
got the fungal spore people in this room. If you're doing diatoms, we have a special diatom room for you.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's really off the hook, we can separate it out so we've got freshwater and salty water people.
Yeah, you don't want to mix
don't-
those kind.
You would end up with an estuary, and that would just be scary.
Nobody wants a brackish one.
It's just too confusing. No,
Right.
I don't think we'll have that many people that it'll be an issue.
Okay.
But, hey, if the interest is off the hook, we'll accommodate what we can.
And is this light microscope only?
No, we don't discriminate against microscope styles.
Look, it's the inside of an odontella. Well, I've got the outside and the inside. But it's cracked open.
It is. Oh, hey, mind of a snail.
Are they here?
They are. Let's see. Yes,
Let's see. Oh, you've remembered the...
I did. I'll get them eventually. It takes me a while. I learn by doing.
I have my own on their channel now. I feel like we started some sort of bot command trend where
I like it.
people just have bot commands for people.
I think it's lovely.
P-Chops also has one for me.
One for you.
Yeah. And I have one for him, obviously, but this looks good.
It does.
Let's make it look better. We'll do this.
So the processes that come out, the little antenna-like things,
Mhm.
these ones aren't flared. The other ones were flared or split at the tip.
Mm-hmm. This is a little guy, though.
Yeah, it's a different one.
Mm-hmm.
Not like hairy shoulders.
No, this one doesn't have any hair. It's
Mm.
bald shoulders.
It's got stubble.
It's.
If you zoom in, you can see the stubble.
Are you telling me you want me to zoom in? I want to
if
get
you
this
wanna check out
picture
the stubble.
first. Then we'll go look at its stubble.
Ooh, Mind of a Snail says the bot command trend, yes. We gave Pacific, oh, thank you, their own command on our channel, but we keep waiting for her to return. It's been crazy. Sunday nights are tough in my house. And you stream right when everything's happening.
That looks good.
I will be back.
It'll be, yeah, a microscope party. That'll be nice.
Yeah.
I was thinking I might actually do. I still have the samples from that scum pond, and I didn't really get a chance to look through much of it. So I thought maybe I might actually do a microscope stream today as well. I'm just gonna stream all day long. One in the morning with the birds, in the afternoon with the SEM, and in the evening with the light microscope. And if I could
How perfect.
squeeze in like a gaming stream in between with Sylvia, you know.
Yes, mind of his nail birds. He's been streaming birds too.
In the morning, on Friday, and again this morning, but my morning, not your morning. So
Like at 6 a.m.
yeah. Maybe I could do a little afternoon bird stream when I get home as well. We'll see.
See, if you stream all the time, I won't get anything done.
Well, the bird ones, you don't have to pay attention. It's mostly for sound. Right?
Watching the birds.
Yeah, and watching birds. The girls in my lab when I went in there this afternoon told me that they had the bird stream up this morning, and they were just in the lab working together with the sound turned up, listening to the birds.
Oh, lovely. Yes. Well, it was such a beautiful sound feast.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of birds. And then Laura, my grad student, said that that's the part she likes the most about it being here, is there's just birds everywhere. She's like, she hears them all the time. I usually can't sleep in the summer, like past maybe 8, because the birds are so loud and they're right outside my window. That's how I wake up. That's my alarm clock. The birds just wake me up.
That's wonderful. We have had, not this last week, but the week before, we have night singing birds.
Oh.
And it probably has to do with the extra light in the city or the full moon. I don't know. But they're sitting here and I'd be like, that bird is not supposed to be singing in the middle of the night.
Light pollution, I guess.
Yeah.
The during my stream this morning, Carlin wanted me to commit to streaming the 17-year cicada, like when they start to come out.
Yes.
And actually might be a really good thing to stream, because I could just put the microphone in the yard, and then I could actually point my camera at, like one of them crawling out and hatching, and use my macro lens, which might be kind of fun to do an insect stream. Okay, this is...
Kalethon says, I had baby birds screaming outside my window while trying to work recently. Thankfully, that has stopped.
You don't like the birds screaming? Or are you just not while you're working? This, oh, you can see.
It's got stubble.
It's also got apical pore fields on its ocelli.
So is it an ocelli or an apical pore field?
Well, it's an ocelli. They're the same thing, kind of. Just about position. But you can see it really clearly there. And then, I don't know, is this stubble? This just looks like... I guess there's some in there that's a little short. Kind of stubbly looking stuff.
It's not smooth like the round ones you were taking a picture of before.
No, yeah.
Kalethon says, not when they scream for food all afternoon.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should feed them.
The worst are the red-shouldered hawks.
I don't have very many of those, but what's bad about them?
They are loud.
Oh.
And they are very noisy.
Yeah, they're like whiny.
All the time.
Yeah.
Especially if there's a nest nearby. And then what happens is the jays start sounding like the red-shouldered hawks. They mimic them.
Oh, really?
So then you get the red-shouldered hawks screaming, and then the jays doing a bad impression of the red-shouldered hawks. And then squirrels sound like hawks sometimes.
That's true. What
and everybody's just screaming.
What kind of jays do you have?
Stellar jays and scrub jays. We got both. Overlapping range.
We just have blue jays. I wish we had Stellar's jays. Those are my favorite. One of my favorite birds. Maybe because they're not making fun of the hawks in my neighborhood, but I think they're cool. Cool looking.
Let's see. Tuosini says, I've always wondered what an emergence of cicadas would be like. I live out of the climate where they exist.
Well, I think I'll probably have it on a stream, seeing as my wife is demanding that I do it. She's like, you should stream that. I was like, I guess I could. I mean, I don't know. Do I want to be in the backyard while they're coming out?
Yes.
Um,
Ooh, Thalassiocyra.
yeah. We got special nets to put over. We have a little persimmon or something in the front yard that we don't want it to get killed. So, so we bought special nets to keep the cicadas off of them. We'll see how it goes.
Well, all those birds are going to have full bellies for a while.
Oh, that's true. But this one doesn't have hairy shoulders, and neither does that one. It must be something that they do. Because that's the same diatom. It just doesn't have the hair.
Yeah. So, do you think you could actually bring some cicada bits in to look at on the SEM? I think that would be really neat.
Definitely. That'll be easy. I mean, we had a cicada husk, I think that we put on a stream last year sometime. But, you know, there'll be a lot of cicada bits I'm expecting this year. So, we'll see. What is this little guy?
So 17 years is a long time to be underground.
I mean, what else are they going to do?
Right.
Insects are weird.
Good news, everyone!
Just always. The cicadas that like every year we have cicadas, right? Like in our yard. And they dig little holes like to get out, I mean, of their nests or whatever. I don't know how long the ones that we have been underground, but it seems like they come out every year. And then I've got like all these little tiny holes in my yard from them escaping, but they really like the brick on my garage, and so they climb up that. And so there's like, it looks like you know, in the amusement park where you spray something out of a gun and then your horse runs faster, right? So like you have a contest with other people where you're shooting like a little gun and spraying it into something and then the horse runs faster.
Yes.
It looks like it's the middle of one of those races where they're like going up the side of climbing very slowly up the side of the garage. And some of them got stuck and then just molt right there, you know. But that's the way it looks. So my whole garage looks like a half-finished race from a carnival.
Oh, Pseudonychia.
Yeah.
And regular cobalt says, hey yo, Diatoms.
Hello. Also, thanks for reading that chat at me.
I'm a helper.
Yeah, you're a helper. That's the inside view of the Pseudonychia, which you don't usually see.
No. Ooh. Could you take a picture for me?
Probably. Hang on, let me finish looking at what I was trying to see if I could find the connecting, like if there's some sort of field or process down here where they connect, but I just don't see anything.
So regular cobalt, we're looking at diatoms from San Francisco Bay that I sent to Diatoms Attack on Pacific Plankton. and San Francisco, and Diatoms attack is there in Indiana with the scanning electron microscope. And it's a real treat to see these in such rich detail.
I think it'll have to do. It's Diatoms with an S.
Yeah, I'll get there eventually.
I think it's like sitting on something because it's at a weird angle. So only part of it's going to be in focus.
That 3/4 view.
Yeah. So 12:30 is 3:30. Your 12:30 is my 3:30.
My turn. Yes. So I was going to try and get my sample by 2:30. We'll see.
You're going to try to get your sample by 2:30?
Mm-hmm.
You mean go, like, leave the house then?
Yes.
Okay.
How long are you going to stream?
You know, till I'm done.
All day?
I have no idea.
I don't want to go.
I just do stuff, you know. When people tell me I don't have a schedule, I'm like, okay. I'm just gonna do whatever from now on. In a month I'll have a plan again. Now I don't have any plans. So, just, you know, kicking back, getting things done.
Nice.
I need to learn
Regular...
need to learn how to relax a little bit. So, practice at it.
Well, the regular Cobalt was telling you about... they were going to get you a sample of the... I can't... Ibiso Lake?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. And the sea that's beyond the enclosure dike, 30 meters away tomorrow. Ah, but they're stuck at home for 2 days. So
Wow.
sorry you're stuck at home.
Yeah. That's okay. I'll still be here. You know, later on. We'll have more chances.
So will the lake and the dike, hopefully.
Yeah. Hopefully they'll outlive me.
So the Rafie runs inside that like rib structure.
Yes.
On the one side.
It does. Those are the fibulae.
And you can see the end of the Rafie there with that little bright spot kind of in line with the fibulae.
Yep, that's the Rafie right there. There's a little like slit right there, and then this is the helictoglossa, which is the end of the Rafie on the inside of the valve. So, and you can see that little slit basically runs behind the fibula, which are these sort of structures here, and then they run across the valve face as costi, and the areolae are these things. You can see the little openings here, and you can see they more or less occur right next to the costi. So, like, that's their sort of positioning. But yeah, and then you can see that here the Rafie ends and the costi don't run across where the Rafie end occurs. So, and this is probably where they would be secreting stuff through these little holes right here to connect.
Yeah, but they overlap quite a bit. I mean, it's almost...
They do.
They overlap more than just that little tiny bit. Although there's many different types.
We might be able to get a better picture up here. I don't know. We'll see. Help if I could focus. No, it's basically the same up here as well. So
Yeah.
those are the fibula, the raphes through here. It ends right there. It's just I haven't slowed down the image enough for you to see that, but all the same structures are here. Yeah, but if I had to guess, it's probably the other end where they're actually, like they only need to secrete stuff out of one end. The other side's probably being secreted by the other one in the chain.
Oh.
So I think it's just this end that's a little bit, it looked like it was a little bit more, fibula didn't go all the way across it as much. We're up on the edge of the
Edge of the stub.
yeah.
The edge of the stub is nigh.
It's impending. That's a sponge spicule, I think. Doesn't look like our normal. Yeah, it's pointy. Any of our normal objects.
So many centrics lately.
Yeah. It's the internal view again. There's all the little Remiportula mouths. These things always seem like they're present. I always see that Cosinodiscus.
Yeah. Ooh, Niger says, this is small scale, but we cannot see why the cuckoo bird develops a falcon's plumage to scare little birds from their nests so the cuckoo can lay a parasitic egg, and when it hatches it knows to fly to Africa? I'm lost, but that's okay.
We're all lost. Why are we talking about birds?
We were talking about birds because of your bird stream.
Oh. Well, these are kind of cool.
Crumbly cribra.
Yes. Not quite cribra.
Underneath all of that extra silica.
I don't think so. I think this is their actual pore covering. Is this weird? These are, they've got a separate name. Maybe. But I don't think it's a Thalassocyra. Oh, maybe it
cryptic
is.
species.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. What's this? That's a Remiportula. And it does have strutted processes,
The
but
little flower ones.
they're everywhere. So I don't know. Maybe it's the
mantle Photoportula.
yeah. Maybe it's a Thalassocyra.
I love those little flower shapes.
Yeah.
And there's so many kinds of Thalassocyra. Oh my goodness.
Look it.
It's the long one.
Yeah. Plesiothrix.
I believe.
Yeah.
It's a little long one, or it's broken.
It looked like it was broken, but hard to say for sure. Well, let's jump over and look at some of the living material stuff from this sample. And
You mean metaphorically living?
was once living, didn't get processed. didn't get dissolved. Intentionally, anyway.
It's not disaggregated.
It has not been disaggregated. Hang on, I want to see what this is. Oh, it's just a Cattosaurus. And a hairy shoulder. Alright,
Oh,
let's...
the hairy diatoms.
Oh, and there's a Ditilum. Okay, let's jump over to 3. So these ones have not been processed. And you can see, even though we never saw any Stephanopixis in the other one, there's some right here.
That looks familiar from last time we saw this. I remember the little
Yeah.
thing that points to it.
Yeah, it's the same one we saw last time. But I'm sort of surprised we didn't see any of these on that other slide. Like, we didn't see the digested version of this thing anywhere in that stuff, but here it is as a colony right there.
Yep.
Maybe it's just more obvious because it's a colony.
I know, they're pretty dramatic when you see them.
Yeah. Not sure what these things are either. Some of your living material organisms.
Deflated.
Deflated something or other, yeah. There's a Paralia. There's a bunch of stuff we didn't see.
Yes.
That is really crazy looking.
So not Scoliopleura, or is it?
I don't think so. I can't even figure out where the focus is. Let's try up here.
Got too much gunk.
It's really like... twisty. And the Raphy is not actually running through the middle of the valve, so I don't think that it's Pleurocyra even. I don't know what this is. We need Anna to come back.
No, take a picture. We'll share it with her.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Niger says, why I'm talking about birds is because I was wondering how the parasitic cuckoo bird knows to fly to Africa from Ireland from birth with no parental guidance. I'm not a bird person and I don't know. Do you know Diatoms attack?
Instinct. It's just how they do everything. How do they know how to build a nest? How do they, they just have hardwired things they know what to do with. It's the same as salmon swimming upstream and all sorts of migratory behavior in animals. It's driven by instinct.
It's algorithms.
Yeah.
On a meat computer.
Yeah, effectively. It's BIOS. Literal BIOS. Have I seen pigeon nests? Thankfully we don't have very many pigeons where I live. And I don't know that I've ever seen a pigeon nest, to be honest. Some birds are just bad at building nests, though. I was trying to figure out how, like mourning doves, how do they even still exist, to be honest? They aren't very fast, they're not very smart, and they're very large. And I feel like if I was a hawk, I would just pick out the mourning doves.
Yeah, but they don't mind being around people too much.
They lay 2 or 3 sticks down and call it done. Well,
Hey, it works, right?
I mean, I guess if they're the right sticks. Yeah, I don't know. Um, but I definitely don't think I've ever seen a pigeon nest. Or maybe I have, and I just thought it was like a random collection of a few sticks, and so I didn't recognize it as a nest.
It was well camouflaged then.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Maybe their plan is to make it not appear like a nest, or maybe they're used to laying their eggs in rocky settings, and so they just haven't figured out the nest building thing yet.
Yeah.
Always possible.
They're like raccoons.
In that they live around people?
Yeah, and they're opportunistic and generalists, and they're not as picky as most birds.
Still doesn't explain how the mourning doves manage. I feel like as hawks move into cities, they should just be able to pick out the mourning doves and eat those without any trouble.
I think they go after pigeons more than the mourning doves.
But we don't have a lot of pigeons.
Oh, we do.
Do
Pigeons and hawks.
And the hawks get the pigeons mostly?
Actually, I don't know what the hawks get.
I mean, I've seen them trap birds before, like pin birds, and like on campus they mostly eat the robins, but they're everywhere, so
Wow.
unknown.
No. I had a hawk swoop down and grab a gopher out of my front yard once.
Oh, I think maybe it is Pleurocyra. I don't know. These look decussate in here. They're just really subtle. We'll run it past our expert. See what she says. She might know, just by glancing at it. Oh, these look like they're those ones that are sort of glued together in little colonies.
Yeah.
Looks like we caught a little piece of the colony. I was kind of hoping we would find like we have like a socialis, Catastrophe socialis or something that we keep seeing.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
I think it would be in here somewhere, shouldn't it?
You would think. There was a bunch of them. But they're probably lightly silicified and fall apart easily.
I mean, these aren't processed, they're just rinsed. So it's probably in here, it's just like a clump and we can't identify it easily. That's my guess. Unrecognizable clump. What's going on here? It's got a lot of spines coming out of it.
Yeah, it's a downward Catastrophe.
Is that a new like yoga position?
Yes,
Downward facing Kitasaurus?
that's correct. There's a clump of little ones that look like
These ones?
Probably.
I thought those looked like the Lasiosiris though.
Yeah, that's what I meant, the Lasiosiris.
Oh yeah, yeah. We should start our own yoga and name it after all the positions after diatoms. It's a good idea.
That'd be fun.
So for your microscope thing, where you're having people on their microscopes, and then they're going to draw, is that the plan?
No, they can. It's more of a time to share and ask questions and work on technique. Like if you're having trouble, if you're an amateur microscopist and you've been watching your little tardigrades, but you can't get the contrast right,
Mm-hmm.
you can ask for microscope support, or if there's some really cool thing that you're wanting to share that you've seen and you're curious what it is, you can share it.
And it's all going to
If you're
be
look-
through Zoom?
Yeah, I think it's going to be through Zoom, at least initially, because I think that's probably the easiest way for me to set it up to start.
Mm-hmm.
And then yeah, see what happens.
Are you in charge of this thing?
I am not in charge of it, but I am supporting it. I'm partially in charge. Co-charge? I don't know.
Partially.
I'm trying not to be in charge.
Oh, why is that?
I want to be involved, but not responsible.
Oh, okay.
Right? It's a wonderful opportunity. I'm like, I will be there. I will support it. Help encourage the community, and then I think it's a really neat idea. There's a class that happens in the spring and the fall through Cabrillo College that is a plankton monitoring class. And one of the things that happens is during the summer, there's no summer class. So the community kind of is in limbo, and they're all microscope folks because they like looking at the plankton.
Mm-hmm.
And so I thought it would be fun to merge that group and the San Francisco Microscopical Society people who are interested in microscopes, not necessarily just plankton, like broader microscope interests.
And is the plan to stream it at all, or you're just
So
like?
I don't want people to feel self-conscious, and some
Mhm.
people, oh wow, that's neat.
I don't know what this is.
Thalassiocyra.
I don't know. It's
Don't
got a
know.
lot of spines,
It does.
irregularly spaced spines.
It's pretty cool. Is the girdle band really smooth, or
I don't know. Let's take a look.
so bright?
It's bright because it's up on its edge.
Yeah.
So
Let's see. Dion Starfire says, question: how you use electrons on living or formerly living objects? I thought capacitance caused a lot of interference with electron microscopes, or is this just the old ones? Is that just... So you coat yours in gold, right?
yes, yes. Everything in my samples are gold plated, and so the living matter sort of distortion issue doesn't occur, or it doesn't occur very much, because the materials that we're looking at are, they've just been coated. So even the organic material can get coated with gold, and then, we just managed to work around it basically as a result. I have no idea what's going on there. These are really cool little... That's a Rimiportula. I can't tell if they're all Rimiportula or if it's just that one. But I can see the hole on that one, so that is
That's neat.
not just a spine. And because they're all the same length and they're kind of spaced out, I think they're all Rimiportula, not spines. Which means it can't be Thalassiocyra. But I don't know what it is.
You need a picture.
Yeah, I was setting it up to get a picture, so...
Always so much fun after your streams. I get to go dig through my book and go, wait, which one did I see?
Well, the nice part is you can always go back and look.
I know. It's wonderful.
They're not hiding anywhere.
The streams aren't hiding. The diatoms are always hidden.
Right. Streams aren't hiding. Well, I know where the diatoms are, because they're fixed.
These ones, anyway.
Yeah. Also, the computer tracks the coordinates, so as long as I don't turn the stub or remove them from whatever, then they stay right where they were. So the X, Y, and Z positions can be refound easily. So you can see right here,
Yeah, it's a little hole.
they're holes, and that one's also a hole, and that one's also a hole. So those are Rimiportula. For sure.
Now I want to know.
I'm not sure what that is, though. It doesn't help. It's a
That's cool.
centric diatom is all I can say. And because we're looking at stuff that might have come from freshwater,
Yeah.
it could be anything. It's not a... it doesn't look like a cyclotella or a staphylococcus. It looks like it belongs with the Thalassiocyra because these things that are going around the outside edge look like strutted processes right here. But it's got way too many of these things for Thalassiocyra. They're only supposed to have one.
Well, it probably used to be Thalassiocyra, and now it's something else.
Yeah. That's a good guess.
Dion Starfire says, okay, electroplating, what they did in the one video I watched about electron microscopes. Amazing that you can actually coat something in a layer of metal thin enough to get this level of resolution without distortion.
Yeah, it's, what do I want to call this? Thalassiocyra-like. It's done with a sputter coater, which basically turns the gold foil into a kind of a plasma cloud, and then it gets deposited, you know, just a little tiny bit at a time as a result. So the coatings on these, we coat them for about a minute and 15 seconds or something like that. They're typically angstroms thick, so extremely light coating to the point where you'd never be able to see it. And it's not ever going to interfere with the image because our image resolution's not small enough to actually see angstroms. So, see, got one of these broad guys, and then we got a silica flagellate.
But you don't have a sputter coater command.
Oh, to say what kind of sputter coater it is?
Yeah, about that cool sputter info.
Yeah, I guess so. I suppose I could add one. It's not like my number of things I can add to my bot are limited, obviously, so why not? The I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how I would make a bird counter. I'm still thinking about it. That is a
Like a-
tintinid.
Clicker counter?
Kind of like a clicker counter. I also think I could also make a, for the birding streams, I could make a, sort of like the genus stream that I have, the command that I have for the diatom genera,
Mm-hmm.
and have it point to, like, Audubon Society or something about that bird, right? I think I could do that pretty easily.
Oh, that'd be nice.
I mean, the thing about most web pages when they have a whole bunch of organisms is that they built them with a code that sort of points to the same place, just has a different, like the bird's name at the end, right? So I just have to go look and see what the structure of their site is, and then I might be able to force it. So I was trying to figure out what this outline was. This looks like some sort of copepod or something, yeah. Now what's left, it's just a police chalk line around it. Here lies copepod.
Or at least the copepod mold.
Yeah, true.
Good news, everyone!
That was the noise of a new follow. Falling stairs. That's a funny name. Right. Well.
It's like falling stars, but
Yeah. Let's go poke around at one of these other samples. Do you want to try to look at the unprocessed material one or the processed material?
I want to see it all, so it doesn't matter which one. It's so cool.
Let's just go to the other unprocessed one. I think it's 6. We'll know right away.
If it's disaggregated or not.
Yeah, see, all the catastrophes are together. So this is unprocessed. I'm trying to zoom out and see if I can... sometimes we just get like a whole barnacle or something, mixed in
bit.
with a chunk of something. Just depends on how... Oh, this was the one that has that weird Symbella
Oh, yes.
chunk in it. I don't see anything big. This looks like an outline of something.
There are lunch stirrings around my house.
Uh-oh. Let's get into that point. I should just start streaming at like 4:30. Then I would miss your lunch stirrings altogether.
They can stir on their own for a little bit.
Well, it sounds like they made you all kinds of food yesterday.
Oh, it was lovely. It was. It was Mother's Day. It's my treat.
Look at this one. That's some hairy
Look.
shoulders.
That is hairy shoulders.
That's a super wide diatom.
So they're wider when they're... I'm trying to get that, like, they're wider when they're older or they're narrower when they're older, are these ones?
This is a baby.
It's a baby?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay, how do you know it's a baby?
Because the diatom's diameter is super wide. Like the width is super wide. So you could fit another one into it easily, right? That's roughly the same size. But as they would continue to divide, it would get harder to put a diatom inside of it. And so they would end up being like taller and shorter.
So longer and narrower.
Yeah.
Caltheon says chubby baby cheeks.
Similar. But apparently they also still have hairy shoulders no matter what. So maybe that's just in their baby form, their baby hair.
Baby hair.
Maybe.
What is it? Langlo? Lang-
What is what?
There's a term for that.
Oh, well, you got hair all over you as a baby?
Yeah, it's let's see.
Kind of like human babies, yeah.
Yeah. Around the 4th or 5th month of pregnancy, Langlo.
I don't know anything about it. I know about diatoms, I don't know about humans very much.
Not that different.
I feel like they are. Lanugo.
So, one of the things you had mentioned before is how some diatoms will actually like, build up extra stuff out of the silica
Mm-hmm.
as a way of saving it up.
Oh, I think that's probably what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah.
They have granules
So-
or something on the surface.
Mm-hmm. So maybe these guys just do it with hair, like hairy looking.
I have no
Extra
idea.
silica.
They're not really. It doesn't look like they're involved in the attachment. You
No.
know. Also, we saw that in the processed ones, so they're at least. You know, it's at least silica, probably, or almost certainly silica. It's not just like chitin material. So I don't know. Yeah, that's the problem I was thinking, Cobalt, is that probably it would be difficult for you to send me something from the Netherlands.
Ooh. Yeah, biological samples cross borders doesn't sound very safe.
Well, that's why you can't label it as a soil sample. First of all, it's not soil. And second of all, they won't let you export soils at all. The soil is a special term for, like, when you're trying to cross a border, when you're going through customs. They're worried about people taking, like, actual soil from a farm or something like that, and bringing it over. And for those, you do need to have special permits to store it and also to manage it. But lake sediments are not soils, and they don't have the same rigorous sort of issues. Baby with hairy shoulders. So I usually label them as rock samples because they don't care if it's a geological sample. And oftentimes I'll just have people process them on site with, you know, bleach or something to get rid of all the organic material. So you wouldn't be able to send me something that was like had living organisms in it. They wouldn't make it anyway. You know, they're not going to survive the trip. But the diatoms could be processed and sent without any trouble if you had some way to process them. Or just come visit the US and then you could mail it around inside the country without any problem. Just bring it in your suitcase. Except for if you get caught, I didn't have anything to do with telling you to bring it in your suitcase.
Yeah.
Wasn't me.
Hmm.
Well, I always think I'm going to find some dinoflagellates if I look around in these samples, and we never do.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had a lot of dinoflagellates.
Well, maybe never's the wrong way to put it. Rarely.
Yeah, they haven't been a major component of the plankton here in a while. Further south, yes, but not here.
Except for... this one looks like it could be.
Oh, yeah. Just, of course.
I was waiting for me to say something. And it's like, oh yeah? What about this?
I got a Singulum.
It looks like it got crushed, though.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think maybe it's Protoparadinium and that's the top of it? And that's like a
That
little...
would make sense.
the little foot?
Or the hat.
The hat.
And the foot,
Yeah,
yeah.
these are the hat. Those are the feet. I think that's what's going on there.
Works for me.
Well, if you buy it... I think I've convinced the hardest person to convince in my
Oh,
current
wait.
audience.
Aren't those are the Newt ones? Hold on.
Where am I going?
Back. Down. It looks like the one with those processes that were poking out before, doesn't it?
Where? Here?
Up and to the left, above the really bright green.
Here. Oh, yeah. This one has a bunch of the little... yeah, it's the same one we saw, just a slightly different angle.
Can we see it any better?
Well, I could focus it. If that's what you want.
Well, you got me all curious about it.
Mm-hmm. That's what I do. It's kind of my thing.
Inspire curiosity.
Yeah, getting people all curious about whatever it is. That's as good as our picture's gonna get. This one's cracked. It's got a broken piece right there.
Oh, yeah. This point in the year, I think we're all a little cracked.
That's true.
Tiny little pores.
Mm-hmm. They're in some sort of organized pattern, though, that looks a little bit... really does look a lot like molasses syrup. Except for the too many Ramiportula issue. I think somebody's knocking.
Oh, sorry, that was my phone. Voicemail.
Is it an important message?
No.
Oh.
I'm 99% sure it's telemarketing.
I thought maybe it was the insurance company calling you back. Telling you, we're sorry. You should stay with us.
No. I can't do anything till the election period in October or whatever it is. Open enrollment.
Oh,
I'm locked in.
gotcha.
Like everybody else in the stupid system.
Yeah.
Regular cobalt. It does look like a stick on a porous tablet. A bunch of sticks.
Yeah, I don't know. Probably the Thalassosauria cousins, though.
It's got a nice neat little ring around the edge.
Yeah. This little lip thing right here?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. That's weird. Unusual, I should say. Maybe not weird.
I'll go for weird.
Okay. Yeah. It's interesting.
How big are these? Ruru 2?
Our current field of view is 75 microns. So, small. Less than 1/10 of a millimeter.
So if you wanted to see where that is yourself, it's on the right-hand side of the screen. There are all these little words, and it has the field of view listed there. Yeah.
Also down here in big text when I'm taking a picture.
Yeah, but you can't see it when the picture starts. You can only see it as the picture finishes.
Mm-hmm.
It scrolls
It's a surprise.
like a fax.
I could actually... I guess if I went to go take the picture, I could always zoom out while the picture's collecting. Then you could see it.
Fine. The information's on the right. It's nice to see the picture up close.
Right. That's how I feel about it, too. Plus, it encourages people to be patient. Just wait for it. Real. What is this? Oh, I know what this is.
You know what that is?
I do. Do you?
Okay. I think we're looking straight down on a little tintinid.
Yep. That's what that is. We're looking directly down on the... landed on its aperture. We're looking directly down on the top of it. Somehow it landed like, you know, you flipped a coin and it landed on its edge.
It's gotta happen every once in a while.
Yeah. Probably a fair amount of the time, actually. I mean, given how many of them there are.
Good news, everyone.
Got another follow.
Yeah, look at that. Thank you, Ruru 2.
We're slowly closing in on 1800. Is that right? Yeah.
Oh, wow.
10 away. 10 magical follows away. Here's another one of these. Look, that one's extra long.
It is extra long.
There's another one over here that looks like extra long, too. Wonder if the other ones are just broken. Or whether there's something special about the extra long ones. Oh, I found another Stephanopixis. Bite-sized. Let's get a little picture of that.
With the candy wrapper on.
With the wrapper on.
Let's see, he says, Urutu says, we're all going to the Forbidden Galaxy. Is it turning into oil yet?
These would have turned into oil. Unfortunately, they were collected before they could become sediment, which is step 2. This is Pacific Plankton's plan. She's going to shut down fossil fuel industry just by collecting all of the plankton
No.
before it can become sediment.
No, we just want it to keep becoming sediment. Stop digging it up. Keep that sunlight in the ground.
It's a good plan. Let's say 80? Or is that the wrong way? What was the right way? Just a little too far, though. So, it's almost 4. And I started at 2. And
That was good.
at, yeah, I got it right. And at 5 o'clock, I do actually have something on my agenda for 5 o'clock.
Ooh.
My niece, Olivia, is graduating. And she streams on Twitch, by the way.
Oh, what's her thing? We'll give her a shout out.
I don't know if she's done any streaming recently. She was doing, like, she was trying to do the Minecraft streams where they speed runs. Have you ever seen those?
Yeah, you were telling me about this.
Yeah.
They start with nothing and then they go from the beginning all the way to the end.
Yeah.
As fast as possible.
Yeah, and they try to do it in like 10 minutes or whatever. So I was watching her stream. She was trying over and over and over this to get it figured out. To even do it once, right?
Mm-hmm.
Without dying, I think is usually the plan. And so this earlier this spring, she was doing that, and she borrowed my other camera, my OMD EM5, and it's like the first camera that I bought from this group, and then she was using it as her webcam because she wanted to look really good, like not just a junky webcam, and. Yeah, I don't think she ever did like make it through a whole thing. Everyone that I watched, she always just couldn't get through the last part of the nether to get to the actual like dragon part. So
Amazing.
Yeah. So, but then she's also been showing up a little bit in my my evening streams while she was like trying to avoid studying for exams, procrastinating basically. So for the last week, she was on my microscope stream. She was showing up. So.
But she's graduating, so that means she made it through the exams.
Yeah, she already has a job lined up. So.
Nice.
And in fact, she had like I think 3 offers at once. So, and she's probably gonna make more money than me. So she's got an engineering background.
Oh, you're getting some technical questions here.
Yeah. Is it pictures by bombarding with electrons instead of reflected light? Yes. It's using electrons. Can I do EDS? I can. Let's see. I haven't shown the inside or whatever of the lab for a bit. I think I have Droid Cam set up on this somewhere. Still.
Yeah.
I can do a little tour of the inside of the lab if I can make it work. Oh, gotta figure out how to do it again. It's okay. Use the Droid Cam at home, and then I've got to make adjustments. Yeah, it's upside down. Okay.
Shrink, something about that plankton disturbs you? Really?
This one? There was somebody on Mind of a Snail stream last night that was like, gross, diatoms weird me out. And I was like, really? That's odd. Something about that plankton.
Oh, this particular one.
Yeah. I don't know. Because it looks like candy?
Or like it could be
tasty?
a giant spaceship.
Oh, it would be a cool spaceship. A lot of the spaceships that you see in like the modern like space TV shows are kind of shaped like these. They have like multiple components, you know. They don't look like an actual spaceship because they're supposed to have been built in space, I think. So, I think that picture's done. Hang on. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if I switch to this. Huh, that's the full droid. So this is the elemental analyzer up here. So if I wanted to do EDS, where I could actually look at the different elements, I can do an elemental analyze. But all of the samples that we're looking at today are like, you know, diatoms, which are mostly silica, so not very useful. This is the actual SEM itself. This is the drawer that we put the samples in. And this thing back here is that's the secondary detector. And this thing over here is the camera that looks into the SEM itself. And then all the rest of it, this is the chamber. This is the column. Oops, that's the column right there that goes up. And then up at the top is the gun that's actually firing down on the sample. And the whole thing is like a desk. It's all built together. So these are my shoes. And that's the computer you're sort of seeing right there. And then over there, that's the sputter coder. And not shown behind this wall over here where the doorway is, back behind the door right there, is a nitrogen tank that's used for the when we need to empty the chamber. So I think that's it. If you want to get a sense of like what we're looking at to scale, so it's a pen. We're all familiar with what a pen is. If I can make my camera focus on it. Maybe we're a bit close. But that's basically the size of the stubs that we're looking at. Each one of those is a stub. So if you look at the... I'm trying to get my camera to focus on this.
Yeah, they're tiny.
It's not. They're pretty small. The stubs are all pretty small. And they're mounted on with just a little pin right there. And then that's it. Oh, and somebody asked me about the control panel the other day. This is the actual control panel. Not sure why that looks so fuzzy. But this is the wheel that I used for changing the magnification, and that's the focus. Or actually, it's the working distance, which is basically the focus. And then there's some little controls here with a step function. I can change the size of the step. So if I want to change the beam intensity, for example, I can make that adjustment here. Beam intensity, brightness, and contrast. That's basically it. And I could use this to move the stage around, but I never do. I always use the mouse to move. And also this came with it a little trackball to help you use instead of a mouse, but I never use that either. And then I've got some antique speakers that we got from my lab computer and some old samples. And this computer actually runs the elemental analyzer. It's like a separate control over the, it's like a whole separate computer that runs the elemental analyzer.
Regular Cobalt wants to know if the cupboard below the SEM is also part of the SEM, or is that just a cupboard?
You're asking about this thing down here? Yeah, that's actually where all the wires and I guess I could open it, but it's not. There's nothing in there that's very interesting. It's just a bunch of like connecting pieces and wires and capacitors and whatever else. So yeah, it's basically. I mean, that's a normal sized computer down there. So it's basically this whole thing here. And then the desk came with the actual SEM, but, you know, that's not actually part of anything. It's just where the computer hangs out. So the SEM is actually just this thing. And it's, the size of a short human. So it can be kind of big. The ones
The
that...
Dalek.
Yeah, roughly. The ones that you can buy desktop SEMs. This is a full-sized SEM, a tungsten SEM. They do have desktop ones. A chest freezer maybe, yeah, or I don't know. Yeah, an actual freezer because it's standing upright. The desktop ones that they sell are, like maybe 2 feet by 2 feet cubes, 2 feet by 2 feet by 2 feet cubes, that are somewhere in the like $50,000 to $60,000 range for those ones. So roughly half as much as this one. But if you were going to put a EDS on it, it would cost the same as this instrument. So we thought about getting one of the smaller ones when we were originally selecting them, and then it was like, but we need to have EDS, and so the chamber adjustments and everything else that they'd have to make in order to fit the elemental analyzer on it ended up basically making it the same cost as this one. So these are Stephanopixis. All right, I guess let's jump back to 5 for a bit, and then...
Yeah, you can't miss your is it graduation or...
It's just it's her like...
celebration?
No, it's what do they call it? Capstone? It's like her final project.
Oh, nice.
And she didn't want everybody else to know about it, I guess. So she didn't want my sister to post it onto social media, and she asked if I could get a link to it. So I feel like that was like a special request to have me see her final presentation. So I felt special.
Very cool.
I think that's pretty cool. So I think she's got a job. Oh, this is Stephanopixis on this one. We just got a top view of it.
Oh, yeah.
So her job is like doing something with energy consulting, and she apparently also got an offer from Tesla.
Ooh.
But it was actually worse than the other offers she got. So
this is actually a really great picture because it has Stephanopixis and Skeletonema, and you can see the difference in size.
People
will confuse them.
You want me to zoom out a little?
Pitch, so you can see that, or rotate it so it's in the corner. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I can rotate it.
Because that Skeletonema is a standard size Skeletonema, and it's a standard size Stephanopixis.
Yes.
And people confuse them, and I'm like, but they're so different in size.
Yeah, and shape actually too.
Yeah.
But I guess that's maybe more obvious to me.
It's more obvious in the light microscope, the size difference than the shape, because they have those little connecting knuckling spines.
Yeah, they both have the same kind of spines, but Stephanopixis is very round, so
it's huge.
It's not even the size for me. It's just that it's round. So I feel like Skeletonema is very square. It's very straight-sided, and in a light microscope, I can tell that something is rounded pretty easily. Probably just because I'm used to optical dissection. So, like for me, things that are round, or they're out of focus and whatever else. So they're very clearly different. And I usually go looking to see how round it is when I'm trying to figure out if it's Stephanopixis or not. But they also don't... They have different sort of structures to them, so they don't look the same.
You're a professional.
Well,
you're paid to notice these things.
But I'm not a professional marine diatomist.
No,
so I feel like...
You're a diatomist.
That part's true. Yeah, it'll look
So
good.
Mind of a Snail says jaunty hat, and Ishwa does the stuff you scan have to be prepared in any way?
We talked about it a little bit earlier, but it just needs to be coated with gold. No big deal. Just
You have a past stream where you actually went through the process, right?
yeah. And I regularly will do like a handheld view of us coding stuff. This sample already has been processed, so I don't want to reprocess it. And I'll probably do it again. You know,
Good news, everyone.
if you're interested in seeing that process, I can show it. It's just basically putting it in a little bell jar over there that sputter coats it with gold, so it looks like little discos going on for a couple of seconds, and then, well, a minute and a half, and then when we take it out, it's gold colored. So, and there's metal all over everything that didn't used to be metal. So I think this is gonna be a nice image, and I'm gonna change the beam to 6 to really try to get it to a little more high res, and speed 8. We'll take a 10-minute photo because I really want to get those little pores clearly, and then I can chat a little bit, but we can think about getting close to ending the stream too, so you can go get your sample and eat lunch, right?
Oh yes, food.
Did you already
Very
eat?
important. No, I had breakfast.
I haven't had either.
Oh,
I ate a cupcake without any frosting on it on the way out the door today, so because I did the morning stream with the birds.
so like a muffin.
Well, no, it was more like a cupcake, but with no frosting.
So it's a muffin.
Functionally cupcake, I think, because it was more like cake flavored stuff. I don't know.
What's cake flavor?
Cake flavored. You know, like tastes like cake. Muffins don't taste like cake, do they?
Depends on the muffin.
I mean, I guess they could. I don't know. Did you ever watch, I don't know if you watched The Office. Did you ever watch that series?
I don't watch much TV.
I figured you wouldn't. But The Office is really funny. Muffins
I
are
know
just
of it.
cake with more flour. That's what Ruru2 says. There's a funny character on there named Kevin, and one time one of the other people suggested that they go get mini cupcakes. And he was very distraught because he was like, a cupcake is just a tiny version of a cake, and a mini cupcake is like a miniature version of a cupcake. And then he goes, where does it end with you people? Which I think is a great line. But anytime I eat a cupcake, I always think about that line, especially if it's a mini cupcake. You can only dream of being prepared for the SEM after you die. I don't think you'll fit Mind of a Snail, because there's 2 of you, and the chamber's not that big. But if I had the powers of King Midas, and I could just turn you gold after you died, that'd be okay. And then I guess we could put parts of you in the SEM.
I don't know, it might be a TOS issue there.
Oh, I'm sure. It depends on what the part is. You know, if it's just their teeth, it probably would be okay. In fact, Carlin wanted me to put one of Sylvia's baby teeth in the SEM.
Oh, that's a great idea.
I don't know how Sylvia would feel about it, though, because she keeps them. And then I think the Tooth Fairy comes and you're writing me into my... I think that's the nicest thing anybody's ever said to me, that they're writing me into their death plan. The Tooth Fairy comes and gives the money, but I think leaves a tooth. So... And I think Sylvia's on to the fact that there isn't a Tooth Fairy, so...
Good news, everyone.
Well, you could explain that it would be coated in gold after doing this, so, you know.
I mean, I would only raise the cost of the tooth if I coated it in gold. And then she'll be like, you know, Tooth Fairy better give me some more money for this one.
It's special.
Right. We could put it back in after we coat it in gold, too. She could have, like, a grill, you know?
Oh.
I'm seeing an open market for micro cupcakes. The next scale down, yes. That's what's going to happen after the mini cupcakes.
Well, no, isn't there that person that does the little YouTube videos of, like, the micro-sized baking?
Do they? How much smaller
Yeah.
could it get?
Oh, it's very small.
I'll
I'll have to post a link in your Discord.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
That, well, maybe. Let's see.
Do they eat a lot if you get micro food prepared, or you just eat small portions and you're very hungry afterward?
I think it's more of an art form.
Oh, it's like for Barbie or something. It's like something that goes in.
No, it's real food.
Oh, okay.
It's just, I don't think there would,
People eat it?
I don't,
Is this like the banana you tape to the wall, or what's going on here?
I'll post in Discord. Let me see what I can do.
Rutu wants to know, can I see viruses with the SEM? You can. They're not very exciting, because the SEM is probably not the best tool to look at a virus with. They would just look like little specks. You need something like a TEM, probably, or an atomic force microscope to really look closely at the structure of a virus. The larger viruses you could see in an SEM, they'd just be small, and they wouldn't look very exciting. They're typically at, like, I don't know, like 100 nanometers or something, and the size scale difference is just a little too small for an SEM, for the most part. Some of the larger viruses you probably could see, but they wouldn't be very exciting. Yeah, 20 to 500 nano. When we started the stream, if you were here right at the beginning, I had us dialed in to 500 nanometers, and we could see stuff at 500 nanometers. It's just a little blurry. But it's not an ideal microscope for looking at those. If you had a field emission SEM, you probably could get down to that scale a little bit more easily. But more ideally, you'd probably want a TEM, which is like $500,000 more money than this instrument costs.
Ooh.
So, yeah, the line-by-line image loading Bardic is actually, it's scanning it, so it's not loading it. Somebody sent him 10 Bitcoin. If people want to donate money to get me a TEM or a field emission, I will take it and then continue to stream with the field emission. That would be fine. The scanning part of the scanning electron microscope is that it scans over the surface, and what it does is it's looking for the topography of that surface, and it does this by firing down electrons, and then depending on how many electrons make it back to the sensor, it sort of determines from there the topography. So each line is really I know. Each line is really the scan, and I slow down the beam a lot to get a really high resolution, low noise image out, because I think this picture looks kind of cool, and so it's taking longer than usual as a result. So You're saving up for a house. It's roughly the same cost as a house to buy an SEM. So, depending on where you live. If you lived where Pacific Plankton lives, a TEM would cost as much as a house. Where I live,
Ah, yes.
the same house that she could get for cost of a TEM, I could get 2 TEMs or maybe 3 TEMs. So, it's a lot cheaper where I live. So I have a pretty big house, and it costs roughly as much as this SEM.
But no ocean.
Oh, I see. That's true. It would be hard to build an ocean here. Yeah, that would take a lot of work. But if I wait long enough, it might get here.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's true.
If I want to donate it to you, then you could buy a house, then I won't have the SEM, so that doesn't work. Also, do you know how to use an SEM?
I could learn.
My recommendation is just buy the SEM, and then live inside of it. Just drape some plastic over top of the desk. How fast can it scan when you're not going for very high res? I'll show you, Bardic. Hang on a second. So, because this image is done cooking, and I will show you. Give me 1 second. This is a top-down view of Stephanopixis and a side view of Skeletonema. And if I close the picture, that's the lowest resolution image, and you can see it's moving like a video camera basically, so it scans the entire screen in less than a second. So I can zoom in and out to the maximum size and zoom way in. It doesn't look very good, it looks very grainy, and that's partly because I have the beam intensity set to 6. Here's the beam intensity 10 version of that. Still doesn't look great, but you can see how fast it's drawing the image and redrawing the image. And if I bump it up to 3, you can see how the scanning is basically taking about a second to scan the entire image. And when I zoom, it takes a second to redraw it. So it's going to redraw, redraw, and redraw every time I move. And that's how I get around. I don't usually take the picture. Hey, I found a triceradium. I usually set it to 4, which is a little bit slower than that even, to move and to get something into focus so that I don't have to wait for it to draw the image. But all I do when I go to take the picture is slow down to, a higher resolution, slower scan. That's all we're doing. It's nothing different between moving around and taking the picture other than how fast the beam is scanning. And then I will also change the beam intensity, so it's 10 now. If you look over on the right panel, is it on the right side for you guys or the left? Right.
All right.
And so I can change the beam intensity. You see the spot size is 47 nanometers. I can change the beam intensity so that it gives me back a smaller beam, and that's basically the only changes that I made. That's a Isthmia chunk right there.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think that we've seen Isthmia for a while, actually.
No. Yeah, we haven't.
I'd have to go back to the old stubs that you sent me from the fall if I wanted to see one, probably. I don't think we've even seen them since then. Some of these catastrophes are still together, even in this sample.
Wow.
These ones here, they made it through processing, and this Ellerbeckia group is all together as well. Ellerbeckia is always going to stick together because it's skeleton-based, like Skeletonema.
I wonder if some of those smaller Catastrophes are the Catastrophes socialis because they're so clumped and they're so small.
Yeah, probably. There's a good old man Ditilum next to a younger man Ditilum. I suppose it could be an old lady and a young lady. We'll never know. If only we could get the baby version. This also looks like a piece of Camplidiscus back here. Right here. The big old Camplidiscus that's buried under a pile of stuff. Unfortunately.
Happens.
Yeah, that's where all the good diatoms are. They're hiding behind some other clump of junk. That's always the case. It's another one of these things, but nice clean view of it.
Ooh.
This one's definitely the Rumuportula on this thing, but these, that, and that, I'm not sure what those are. Why does it have different scaled processes? Now I want to find a flat one, or one that's laying completely flat.
Like a treasure hunt.
Oh, it always is.
Ooh.
There's an inside of
up at
a...
the top?
Up here? This one?
No. It was that one, yeah.
Oh. Oh. Oh my.
Oh.
Look what I found.
Look at that.
Now I just want to fix my stigmation. I don't know if I could get it any better or not, but we're going to find out. It was sitting right
So
where
it's
I
moving
wanted.
around. Yeah.
Yeah, it's moving as I focus. And what I'm trying to do is just maximize the contrast, really. I feel like there's sort of like it kind of sits in, like, at the perfect level, which I guess we're right at.
Little brain-shaped holes.
Yeah. Interesting little pore covers on them. Just got a bit of junk on it, but otherwise looks good. These ones look like spines. And that one looks like a Rumuportula. At least in this view.
Such a crazy little ridge.
Around the outside?
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely has like a weird lip. And then these are Catastrophes spines all over the place. Actually, all over
Good
it.
news, everyone!
All over it. Okay. That's at 10. Here's at 7. And I think maybe I could even take it to 6 if I do this again, which I will. Because I want to see those details. We got a new follow.
Yeah.
Can
So close.
Duster. We're at 1794. 6 follows away.
So close.
Only if you like the round numbers, if you care about that. From a scientific
I
point
like
of
all
view...
shaped.
Oh, you like all the shapes. From a
I like all
scientific
shaped numbers.
From a scientific point of view, we're already at 1800. We just round.
Round numbers, rectangular numbers, circular, square, pyramidal numbers.
You're not biased against the different shaped numbers.
No.
You don't have a favorite number?
I don't know. I always think that's interesting because, what's your favorite number? They're always small numbers. Like, why not?
10,000?
Yeah, or
6?
85,329,652 or something.
It's your number. You're allowed to have however favorite number you want.
Yeah.
So, do you have one that's up there?
No, there's just too many to choose from.
What you should do is make it a number that has each one of the digits. You know? Like 10-digit long number with each of the numbers in it. Then you don't have to choose. What do you think?
That's an interesting idea.
This Ketosaurus spine is really kind of interesting, the setae here. Do you see it's like got a spiral wrap around?
It really does.
This one here,
It's like
too.
one of those toys that that extend. They're like on a stick and you can like pulling it out.
Chinese yo-yo,
Hmm.
I believe, is what they're called. Those were my favorite when I was a kid, actually. Really, I kind of liked all the yo-yos, but the Chinese yo-yo was my favorite.
You like yo-yos?
I used to.
Hmm.
I haven't used any yo-yos in a while, but Sylvia has one, and then I'll show her tricks. And then she'll try to do it, and it'll be like, buzz, and it'll just go down, you know. She can't get it to come back up. So, I guess I stopped using it because it was making Sylvia mad. She's probably old enough now that she could make a yo-yo work, though. Bardic. I think he picked out Bardic's favorite number just by accident.
I did? Oh my goodness. It's just, what are the odds?
Pretty small, I would guess. You should play the lottery.
Well, most people choose, like, what's your favorite number? And it's a small number. Almost always it's a small number.
Well, I think maybe they were thinking you were asking what's their favorite numeral.
Oh.
So they're just focused on like 1 through 0 through 9.
9, yeah.
But if it's a high number, it's probably something you wouldn't experience frequently. Whereas if it's just a numeral, those are pretty much all the time. So maybe that's the reason.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't know. Like,
Do diatoms have a favorite number? I mean, are they arranged in like certain number patterns?
I would guess it's 2 because, they've got 2 valves. I mean, if I were guessing,
Hmm.
that's where I would start. But I guess it could be any. Some of them maybe it'd be 5 or 3. I mean, if you're Ditilum, maybe it's a different
I could
number.
see that.
Hard to say. I haven't asked any of them that, and I feel like they wouldn't answer me if I did.
Or maybe you just wouldn't be able to hear them.
Well,
Good news, everyone!
oh, there's some more little triangle guys up here. Very little triangle guys.
I can't believe it's already almost 1:30.
Well, it's way past that. It's 4:30. But I'm in the future, so as usual.
I'm just hanging out in the past.
Yeah, it's still back in the afternoon, early afternoon for you. But you're right. It is probably time to stop. I'm gonna zoom in on this little guy. Oh, it's a Diatylum.
Good news, everyone.
That's the Rimoportula structure of a Diatylum.
It's not the
Leads to the spine, or spine-like structure.
the other one. Lithidesmium? They have a little one too, yeah?
Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe it's Lithidesmium. It is sitting right on the actual, like we're on the vertical
They've got-
piece.
Yeah, they've got shorter vertical bits.
Mm-hmm. Could be
They're
Lithidesmium.
more yeah, they're more tidy.
Tidy?
Yeah, they're tidy little triangle diatoms.
Go clean up your room, Diatom.
They don't have those like long eyelashy things.
Oh, the spines are on the outside edges and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're probably right. It looks like it has different shaped elevations here too. So it looks smaller too, by the way. It's a little bit smaller. All right, so let's set up this to take a picture. It's basically there, except for, I don't know, maybe it's a little overexposed. And then I should find somebody to raid.
Ooh,
Doesn't that sound like a good idea?
sounds like a great idea.
And then I'm gonna watch my niece's thing, maybe eat some food, not necessarily in that order, and then work on some grading, and then maybe I'll be back in the afternoon for some more birds or some microscope stuff or who knows what. And then you have a stream you're gonna do, right?
I do. If I can get Plankton.
If you can.
I'll get it.
I'm sure you will. What would stop you?
You streaming nonstop.
Oh, well, maybe I'll wait till you get it and then I'll stream again. That'll teach you. Oh, we're just 4 away now from 1800. We're so close.
You'll get them later, I'm sure.
Oh,
Good news, everyone.
we waited just a little too long and Professor Melko raided us.
I was just gonna say you should raid Professor Melko. It's a Melko raid.
We've been Melkoed. You did win. I'm gonna do this though. Melko. We were just getting close to ending. And then I was like, oh, we should find somebody to raid. This is the same fight I have with, like, paleontologizing every night. Oh, but there are people we could go find. I see Little Chook is streaming, and Allison B. Wild, and Jolkson. So,
Oh yeah. Oh, there's people.
there's people. We got people. I want to say thank you for the raid to Professor Melko, though. And
Yeah.
you must be at the end of your semester as well, or getting close. I could raid you back.
Raidception.
It's fine. We can pass it on. Maybe we'll send everybody to see Jolkson. Hi, from Germany. How are you doing, Unserkind? We're looking at some diatoms from San Francisco Bay in the scanning electron microscope, which is it's right over here next to me, and you can see the stubs in the chamber that's in the picture below me, and then below that is some little doodad showing who's talking. It's me and Pacific Plankton, who's here in my Discord hanging out as guest. These are samples she sent to me, and then she's got to get going because she's got to go collect some samples, and then she's going to stream again tonight at
Good news,
Right.
everyone.
midnight Eastern time, and that's like 9 your time, right?
9 p.m. Pacific, yes.
Yeah. So you should definitely check out Pacific Plankton and follow her if you haven't before.
Oh, thank you.
And so she'll be looking at these same
Good
things,
news,
but
everyone.
living versions
Yes.
of them, whereas I look at the dead versions of them. And she's going to use light, and I use darkness to see mine. So it's a nice combination. Yeah, Julkson's
sides
probably
of the
where we'll go. We'll go Ray Julkson. So if you're interested in microscope streaming in general, I've got a little list of a bunch of microscope streamers. That's them.
Good news, everyone.
And I want to say thanks for all these follows. That's really great. We were sitting right on the cusp of 1800, and now we're at 1800 exactly. So we did it. We crossed over the threshold this stream.
Good
Wow.
news, everyone.
Now we're even farther past it. So thanks for that. That'll be good. And you'll see that Julkson's in that list. He streams from the light microscope as well. It's part of my little squad of, well, not my squad, but a squad of microscope streamers on Twitch. And what did we decide this was? Lithodesmium?
Lithodesmium, I think, yes. I think.
Internal. And
Yeah, we should have some of those in the sample today, too.
well, that would be nice.
Wouldn't that be nice? Bring it full circle.
Yeah, and then maybe I can get it processed and posted somewhere before the stream. You know, can show them some of the diatoms in the SEM that way. Maybe I can get it onto my Instagram page by that point. We'll see. If I'm really productive, it's possible I can do that.
Oh, wow. Diatom questions. Do diatoms have lipid membranes? And is there a price per minute hour for the use of the microscope?
So, I think diatoms do have lipid membranes, but I am not a biologist, so that question is probably not for me. At least not if you want it answered accurately. And the second question is an easy one, because this is my scanning electron microscope from my lab. So I don't pay a price per minute, but if somebody came to borrow it, like from outside the university, or another researcher had something else they wanted to look at on my instrument, I usually charge, depending on whether or not I have to sit here with them and run the SEM, or whether they can run the SEM themselves. So if I have to sit here, it's usually like $50 an hour. And if I don't have to sit here and they know how to use an SEM, or they can be trained to use the SEM, we usually charge $35 an hour. But those are very low rates. So if you were to go looking for, I want to use an SEM in somebody else's lab, and most diatomists don't have their own SEM. If you were going to go look for that someplace because you wanted to, put some samples on the SEM, expect rates that are closer to $100 an hour for most places, unless they, unless they're giving you a really nice discount. So I usually charge people less because I'm not trying to make money. I'm just trying to recover costs. So, and only really charge people for like my time if I'm sitting here, as a motivation to get them to actually just get trained so I don't have to sit here. So most of the time it's students, and I'll have another student sit with them and train them, and then basically they don't have to pay, or they don't have to pay much to use it. If it's another researcher that's in our program, or our department, or one of these closely related departments, I usually just have them give me some sort of a flat rate for the year and let them use it, as much as they want, just on the schedule, basically. So I'll give you some idea. of typical rates, though. But for mine, I don't have to pay because it's
Good news, everyone.
it's in my lab. But I do usually write into my grants maintenance costs for my SEM. So like if I am trying to get an NSF grant, the cost for running the instrument are included, but it's usually not an hourly cost. It's usually like a couple $1,000s to cover maintenance and buy supplies, because those things cost money. And I mean, the actual instrument itself doesn't cost a lot of money to run. It's electricity, a little bit of nitrogen in the nitrogen tank, and a filament and the gold sputter coater. So, but to replace supplies or to maintain the equipment does cost money. So for those purposes, I usually ask people for money. That's a good question, though. I don't think I've ever answered that before. It's a cost and a discus with a buddy.
The Diatom buddies.
Yeah.
I like this one. I had a lot of pictures of this one. It looks so nice. It's such a photogenic diatom.
It's visually pleasing because it's flat and dynamic, and there's a bunch of holes, different shaped size holes.
Hey, Henry Hook.
Henry Hook, hello. You kept coming in at the end. So I'm going to find something to poke at here with the picture, and then we're going to go raid Julkson, who's a microscope
Yeah.
streamer.
There was that a honeycomb pattern that small? So if you look, there's a scale bar.
Down here.
Yeah. It's dynamic, so it'll tell you.
Yeah, as I change the size, you'll see the scale bar shift. So as I zoom in and out, it changes the scale. Unlike my microscope at home, which just has a little text bar that I stuck in there, which works fine, except for I have to change it, same as you, right? You have to change yours when you do it. I haven't figured out a way to automatically adjust it. Do you use it as different scenes, or you just have little art that you change?
Yeah, I have quick keys for overlay, like little graphic overlays or...
Yeah.
Yeah.
So just individual elements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, if I had a dedicated fancy microscope camera, I'm sure there's software that would do it.
Probably. But your stream wouldn't look as good.
Some really fancy microscope cameras out there. I was looking at one. It's just expensive.
How expensive?
It's like $4,000.
But your camera's probably a better camera.
I don't know. Mine can't record in 4K.
Oh, mine can.
Well, yes.
But it doesn't cost $4,000.
True.
My camera only costs like, I mean, you can get the 4K one. They're like $1,500. So it's still a lot of money.
They don't have a dynamic scale bar.
I feel like for $3,000, I would just, or $2,500, I would just play with the scale bar myself.
There you go.
I feel like
that was my
I feel like
decision.
yeah, that's not worth it. Not for a scale bar. Sorry, people out there wondering what size things are. You're not worth it.
Well, you're worth it, but it's I don't have the. I mean, it would be lovely, right, if you could just switch it on and have it do it dynamically, but
I mean, I guess it'd be okay.
Resource limited.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It's acting up as this.
Natty Science wants to know if you ever do TEM stuff with them.
People do. I don't have a TEM. So I don't. I mean, I look at the skeletal components of diatoms rather than the living components of diatoms, so I don't really need a TEM. I don't need to know what the, internal parts are doing. The step one for me after I collect it is stick it in a vat of acid and get rid of all that stuff. So I don't need to know the, that kind of structural component whatsoever, really. It might be useful if I were looking at living diatoms frequently, but I don't. I look at them for fun, or if I want to explore an environment that I'm not familiar with or something like that, but I generally don't look at living diatoms other than for fun. So, a TEM's super useful, very powerful tool, but I don't have access to one. There's not one here at the university, and I don't do any research that's directly related to that. So, okay. I think we will stop with this Actinopticus, though, and call it a day, because I do have to go catch a Zoom meeting. I brought my computer, so I don't have to go far, but I still need to get everything set up. And then I gotta let you go get your plankton sample, or else we won't have anything to watch tonight.
I know, I have to go find the living ones.
Go find the living ones, and then, plus or minus send me some more. Occasionally. So this is set up for speed, beam intensity. I'm just going to let it take this picture, and then we'll go raid Jelkson. So we did crush over that 1,800 follower threshold. I want to say thanks to Professor Melko for the raid and bringing in your people. It's very nice of you. And we will pass it on to another microscope streamer in the science and technology category. So that is Jelkson, who is on right now with only one person in there.
Everyone.
So he's going to be very excited when we bring in a massive group of people. Just as a warning, Jelkson doesn't talk, he just chats through his thing, or I think it's a he. So
they will chat. They will be active in the chat.
They will chat
news,
with
everyone.
everybody, but they don't have a camera or a microphone right yet. So, but we'll go over there with our huge crowd of people, and you can check out their very, very cool microscope streaming. They're looking at freshwater samples, usually a bunch of really cool microorganisms, and super friendly person. So, and I have a little Diatom raid emotes if you're a subscriber. If you're not, you can go to the BTTV for my channel and copy those in and paste them if you'd like. They are accessible through that as well. So, and
Good news, everyone.
thanks again also for Mind of a Snail, and I guess we had a bunch of regulars that were in here as well. Say thanks to you, all the followers, the raiders, and you should definitely check out Pacific Plankton. She'll be on tonight at midnight Eastern time. So hopefully she'll be able to get some samples to look at in the time she has. All right.
Oh, yes.
That's it. We'll catch you later. Okay. Thanks, everybody. I think it sent it over. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Raiding with a party of 91. Oh!
It's a big raid.
Yeah, it'll do. That was sweet. That was good.
All right.
I'm so hungry.